Good everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I'm going to talk about another integration design pattern, that is the UI update based on data changes. As you can infer from the name itself, right? UI update based on data changes. What that means is whenever a change happens to the Salesforce data, the UI should reflect it automatically without a user intervention. So let me give you a very simple example. A Salesforce interface with AWS Connect. So where AWS Connect acts as a virtual call center, where a customer calls and the call get routed to AWS Connect, and the case get created automatically on a Salesforce based on the conversation with the AWS Connect, right? There's an automation behind the scene where the case get created based on the user input. Okay, so now the Salesforce user, or in other words, an admin or whoever it is, looking at the screen shouldn't be refreshing the screen of the case. It should automatically get displayed on the screen without the user have to, have to refresh it. Okay, so that's one of the scenario. Another scenario, which is a typical Salesforce example, what they say that you are a customer rep, right, and you're interfacing your Salesforce with a payment gateway, okay, and you are on a phone with a customer and you have asked customer to make a payment. So customer decides to make a payment using an external system, and that external payment system interfaced with the Salesforce. Okay, now the sales rep is looking at your screen, yeah, and when the customer makes a payment, it should automatically reflect on the Salesforce saying payments has been authorized. Okay, so that kind of scenario where the UI update based on data changes design pattern comes in picture, right? So we take this as Salesforce. Um, Let me say interfacing with AWS or Azure or whatever, right? So just for the sake of simplicity, we say we are interfacing with Amazon Web Service. Yeah, and and let's say the payment gateway is hooked up to the AWS. Okay, so we have a payment gateway interface or API that's been hooked up to AWS, on which in fact connects to another system. Okay, so uh, going back to my previous example of AWS Connect, which is a virtual call center, right? If you have used AWS Connect, which is a great technology, by the way. So the user makes a call to AWS Connect, and the request for, so you are a sales for, you are an organization, let's say, who brews beer, okay? So it's a Wilson Brewery, brewing beers, the best beers in New Zealand, right? And your customer called to say there's an issue with a batch of the beer they bought last time. Okay, it's too sour or whatever, right? Okay, and so there's an issue with the bottle. Okay, because accidentally the Wilson Brewery mixed up the sour brewing with in a regular brewing, so kind of contamination happened or whatever happened. Just to give you context, okay. And the customer called back and said, look, the client is complaining, so wanted to raise the case. We need a refund or ship us a better version of the beer. Okay, so and a case get created automatically here, and an operator that looks at the Salesforce should see a case coming through on the screen. Okay, without doing a refresh. So that's how the UI based update or data changes uh, design pattern comes into picture. Okay. Another example, as I said, about the payment gateway. Once they pay the payment here, it should reflect the payment has been paid. Okay. Now you got to ask a few questions. Okay. So the few things, will the data, being acted on need to be stored in Salesforce, or do you want it to have a custom user interface layer to be built for viewing this data. Okay, so can you use an existing list view, or do you have to build and separate interface for it? Okay, and will the user have access for invoking the custom user interface? Okay, that's another question you have to ask. Now, what is the solution for it? Okay, which is a very interesting part. This is a very small session today because it does not involve much complex technology like other ones we talked about, where you have to do SOAP API, you gotta have to do bulk API, you have to do error handling, we got to do a lot of other stuff, right? So I'm just going to talk about very briefly this. Okay, so what are the solutions that you have to keep into consideration? Okay, what is the solution for it if you wanted to go with this approach? Okay, um, see, the polling, we had a polling technology way back, which is a legacy technology, right? I mean, that's the days of polling has long gone. Okay, let me be honest. So Salesforce has an option, which is something called streaming API. Okay, so let me write down. So if you wanted to go this route of UI based, update based on data changes, you have to leverage a streaming API. Okay. Now, this solution is composed of the following components. So you got to work with following options. One is the push topic. Okay. With a query definition, which allows you to specify what event trigger an update, and the second one, what data to include in the notification. Okay, so I repeat, so you have to work with the push topic. Okay, better query definition, so I'll just write it down here. Push topic. So push topic with a query definition. Okay, that allows you to specify what event triggers an update. Okay, and what data to be included in the notification. Okay, or other thing, what you can do, you can also go with the JavaScript based implementation of Bayux protocol. So which is that is the Bayux. I think I spelled it. Come on. You can use this one, which is currently called Comet D, right? Come on. It can be used by the user interface. Okay, so you can use this one, or you can also go with a custom visual force page or lighting component. So yeah, so this is one of the very simplest approach you can use. Now, why do you have to use this pattern, right? So it actually eliminates the need of writing custom polling mechanism. Like I said, the polling technology has been long gone, way gone before, and you don't have to specifically, initiate refresh or something. In other words, it eliminates the need of a user initiated feedback loop, in simple terms. Okay, so like I said, this is a great technology if you're after a UI refresh. Okay, based on the Salesforce data change under the hood, then this design pattern is a great way to go forward. Okay, now that being said, there are some limitation that comes with this pattern. Okay, so the delivery of the notification, right? It's not guaranteed. You can't say which will deliver which. Okay, or so that comes with the order of notification. Okay, so let's say you can't say that this one, number one, will get delivered first, or number two will get delivered too. No, there you can't actually. That's something which is very difficult to implement. Okay. Then the notification aren't generated from record change made by the bulk API. Okay, that's one of the things you have to keep in mind. If a record change happened due to bulk API, so then you won't be able to generate the notification. Okay. Um, so now, if you talk about the security, right? Like I said, this is a very simple discussion. Okay, so the standard Salesforce org level security, right, is adhered to in this case. Okay, so what is recommended that you make use of HTTPS protocol to connect to streaming API. Okay, so HTTPS protocol is much secure. Okay, so use that for connecting to. So I'll write it down. So this is the security aspect, which is very important, right? As you know, that security plays a very important role when you do any kind of integration. So if you are presenting this kind of a topic to an architecture team, right? And if the architecture team includes a security guy, he or she will query saying, hey, what about the security, right? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? Okay, so that's what I was saying. If you are going to use the streaming API, please make sure you use HTTPS protocol. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much I wanted to talk about today, right? Like I said, this is not a hands-on session. This is just a theory. Okay, we can do hands-on later, right? So I got to cover one more. That's the data virtualization. Okay. So after that, I'm going to talk about Salesforce Connect, which is hands-on, right? There's not much theory involved. Once I finish with the Salesforce Connect, that marks my basic integration. I'm not going to talk about external service, though I will cover external service later. Not a part of this series because external service is great. Once I finish the Salesforce Connect, I'll be talking about LWC component, right? Which is pretty cool stuff. If you're working on a front end, you will find LWC is a great technology to use it. If you're someone who have used React.js, you will feel home when using LWS. I mean, I love React.js. It's a great technology, right? You can use embed like it, and if you're a React.js developer, you can still embed your React app using a Canvas technology in Salesforce. But have a look at LWS. It's a great technology, right? So that's my plan for a few months. Once I finish this, then LWS. Once LWS is over, we'll look at other aspect. Okay. So, all right. So that being said, I guess you guys have an amazing Sunday wherever you are. Cheers.